Hello my loves, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. Hi, hello, my name is Loey, and I finally got ready for the day at 5:30 in the morning, and you might be sitting at home like, finally? Low. That's actually kind of impressive. 5:30 a.m. is an early call time. However, I just got ready and I've been awake since yesterday. I'm gonna have a bit of a rambly intro, but today we're gonna be talking about some super scary urban legends from all over the world. I moved to Los Angeles back in the summer of this past year, so this is my first year living here, and I have not been used to all of the wildfires that are here. There have been a lot this year and they've been super freaking me out, and now there is one incredibly close to where I live. Like, the evacuation zone for it ends 5 miles away from my apartment. And so I've kind of been a train wreck. My anxiety is through the roof. I really haven't been like able to leave my apartment. I've been very anxious and freaked out, and my area isn't exactly being evacuated or anything like that, and I'm not in any danger, but my mental state is awful right now. If you felt like yesterday's video was up really late, that's why. If today's video is up kind of late, that's why. I've just been struggling a lot, and I appreciate your patience. I honestly was so close to taking today off from Vlogmas, but I feel like having this goal gives me something to focus on. But anyways, I won't ramble on for much longer. I just wanted to quickly throw that out there. Say if you also live in California, I am right there with you, boo, and I am freaked out too. And in situations like this, I feel like the best thing I can do for myself is focus on anything else. And when I focus on something, 9 times out of 10, it's something spooky. So you know that when I found this list of really scary urban legends from all over the world, my butt was so intrigued, and I really wanted to make this video for you guys and kind of just read them with you. I started reading the list and I was like, no, I'm gonna react to most of these on camera because the first one creeped me out so terribly. This first one is from Brazil, and it's the O Corpo Seco. I hope I'm saying that right. Someone's gonna school me in the comments below, but it's basically the dried body. This creature was once described as having a shriveled body with an ugly face full of pustules, and has been sighted in several cities in southeast Brazil. There are many local versions of the origins of Corpo Seco, but it is consensuous that he was once human and was a very cruel man when he was alive, with some stories claiming that he even beat his own mother. When he died, the ground rejected his buried body and his corpse kept returning to the surface. After having his eternal rest denied, he turned into this monster. He is thought to have the power to dry out and kill trees, but also to suck the blood of humans on deserted roads in the dead of night. That is a lot of power for a dried up corpse. Oh my god, like reading the backstory to that, and like to think that he was once human, like literally the ground rejected him because he was so evil. That story really like got under my skin, and I'm not entirely sure why. I think it's that picture that went along with it. This next one is from Japan, and this is Mary-san no Danwa or Phone Call from Mary. This popular Japanese urban legend is about a porcelain doll that, after being abandoned by her owner, decides to murder her. For every step she takes getting closer and closer to her victim, she greets the girl with a phone call. What sounds like a prank at the beginning of the story grows darker and darker in tone as the story goes on. A family is moving houses, and their daughter throws away a porcelain doll named Mary. That night, the girl gets the phone call. "Hi, it's Mary. I'm at the garbage dump now." The girl hangs up, but the phone rings again. I literally have chills. This is creeping me out. "Hi, it's Mary. I'm at the corner store now." The phone rings a third time and a voice says, "Hi, it's Mary. I'm in front of your house now." The girl works up the courage to open the front door, but sees nobody there. Must be a prank, she thinks, and then the phone rings. "Hi, it's Mary. I'm right behind you." Oh man, haunted dolls and anything related to dolls just freaks me out. And again, the photo that went along with this one is super freaking creepy. That's a really interesting, and I had never heard of that. Oh my god, that is so creepy. This next one is from the United States, and this is Bloody Mary, which I am very familiar with. This urban legend is about a young girl named Mary Worth, who was very pretty and would spend hours admiring herself in the bathroom mirror. But one day, I've never heard this story. Is that strange? She suffered a terrible accident and her face became so disfigured that nobody could stand to look at her. One night, after deciding she had to see the damage for herself, she crept into the bathroom, stared at herself in the mirror, and broke down screaming and crying. She wanted her old face back so badly that she walked into the mirror, vowing to find it, and she was never seen again. To this day, she haunts mirrors, and young girls can summon her, if they dare, by turning off the bathroom lights, turning around 3 times, reciting Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, and looking into the mirror where the gruesomely disfigured Mary Worth will appear. I know that I had talked about, I kind of did like a Bloody Mary video back in the day, but I don't think I ever heard this version of the story at all, because I definitely would have remembered this. That is really creepy. This one is also Los Angeles, and this really isn't an urban legend, it's more a fact, but it's about the Hotel Cecil. The Cecil Hotel opened in 1924 in Los Angeles, where it became a notorious site for crime and tragedy. It became residence to at least 2 serial killers and a place where many guests committed suicide by jumping out the windows. In 2013, for example, one tourist, Elisa Lam, I am obsessed with this case, FYI, oh my god, that story chilled me to my bones, was discovered drowned in the water tank on the roof of the hotel. Her death was ruled as an accident, but elevator security footage showed that Lam had been acting erratically in the corner of the elevator, almost as if she was hiding from someone. Throughout the years, people have continued to report strange happenings at the hotel, which went on to inspire the TV show American Horror Story. Sightings of a little boy appearing outside the windows on the 4th floor, a guest saying that he felt like he was being choked while trying to sleep, and guests also encountering cold spots in various locations throughout the building. So I am a little bit confused because that's definitely not an urban legend. All of that was just straight up fact. I wanted to give you guys like the full story though, in case you're following along and reading. But those are all strict facts. There isn't anything urban legendy about the Hotel Cecil. So much crazy stuff happened there. It's unreal. I really want to go there and kind of do, if you watch like my videos with Haley at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, I would love to do something similar, but also I don't know, like someone genuinely died there and she was found, like Elisa Lam was found in the water tank at the Hotel Cecil, and now it's not even called that anymore. Like, that freaks me out. I don't even know if that's a place I want to be in. So the next one's from Russia, and the word is, in my mind, antsy ball, but I'm sure that's not how you say that word, antsy ball. I'm gonna go with antsy ball. There's an old myth in the eastern parts of Russia and far away in Siberia about a creature called the Antsibal or Akabal, an evil spirit who lives in swamps. Nobody who has ever seen him has survived to tell the story, so his appearance changes depending on who you talk to. A tall creature covered in wet swamp water with legs, arms, and other parts covered and protected by plants and wood. Antsibal makes venturing into the swamp very dangerous. He's mostly active at night, and he lives in swampy areas because it's neither land nor water. It's unstable, just like himself. Although Antsibal doesn't hunt people, when someone approaches the place where he is settled, he will try to kill them. He can make people go deaf, he can strike people blind, and he can disorient people who get too close. He'll do anything in his power to ensure that you get lost and drown in his swamp if he feels threatened. Depending on the region, people also believe that the Antsibal doesn't have any eyes, and that he can mimic any animal sounds such as ducks and birds, drawing in local hunters. That is petrifying, and that would definitely keep my butt out of the woods, away from the swamps, everything. That is really interesting. I love learning about urban legends all over the world. I think my favorite like urban legends and myths are always Japanese because I feel like they get so dark, but these are really creepy and I've never heard of any of them so far. Well, except Bloody Mary, of course. This one is called the Bleeding House, and this one is from France. The Bleeding House was located in Saint, and when I see this word, my southern self wants to say Quinton, but I'm sure it's like very French and like Quinton, you know, whatever. French people everywhere unsubscribing. Its story begins in 1986 when a family moved to the property and, after a month, started to hear strange noises such as moans and clanging pots coming from the ground level. At first, they thought it was just the neighbors, but then things became weirder and weirder. One day, the wife witnessed a strange and vicious red substance dripping down the walls of the kitchen. Her husband dismissed her concerns, saying it was probably just old paint that was returning to the surface. Yeah, the house is just bleeding. No, NBD. But then it started happening in other parts of the house, so the couple decided to call the police. The investigation led to a creepy conclusion that it was not paint at all, but human blood. The family decided to leave the house for a week after spreading flour on the ground in hopes of catching someone pranking them. When they returned, there were no footprints, but all the walls of the house were totally covered in blood. A priest was called and gave a verdict. This was the work of a demon, and the house should be demolished at once. That is an intense verdict to come to, that the house should just be demolished. When they tore the house down, the corpses of about 50 German soldiers from the First World War were discovered beneath the building. The photo above is actually of the house that was built to replace the bleeding house. Are you kidding me? I'll insert the house photo right now. Oh my goodness, that is so eerie. Oh man, that gives me the absolute chills, like to my core. I'm not sure how much fact is there and how much is like urban legend, you know? I was actually reading about this place here in California. It's not too far from me, and this is kind of an urban legend of like the LA area. There's this really weird like castle-like home that was built by this couple, and the urban legend is turned into that this woman drowned her children there and like it's super haunted, and in reality they just like got kicked out by the city because they were breaking so many violations with like the way that the house was built and stuff. So I wonder how much of that is fact and how much of that is fiction. I'll have to do like a proper investigation on that though. This one is from Germany and it's called the Waldenel-Hostner. It was built by the Franciscan Order in 1913 in a city I can't pronounce in Germany as a hospital, school, church complex that sheltered around 600 disabled and learning impaired people. Eventually, the function of the institution was changed dramatically. At first, its adult inmates were sent for mandatory sterilization, a common fate for those who were considered by Hitler's followers to be unwanted sectors of society, including alcoholics, schizophrenics, and people with congenital weaknesses. Long story short, some of these inmates were eventually sent to gas chambers. That same decree also stated that all babies born with incurable disability should also be euthanized. And basically this place became a killing center for the mentally handicapped children. Oh my God, I have chills. Okay, it has a really dark history. I'm not gonna read all of this, but it's thought that at least 97, at least almost 100 children died there. The entire complex has been empty and for sale since 1991, and the people who visit the building insist that they can sometimes hear the sound of children screaming and crying in the empty corridors. I can only imagine, like, with the kind of stuff that happened there, the energy that would be left behind. That is literally terrifying. Okay, so we're on to one that I've kind of heard of. This one's from Mexico and it's called La Llorona. This is the story of a poor Mexican woman who married a rich Spaniard. After they had children, the Spaniard started losing interest in his wife and was embarrassed to be married to a woman without prestige. In a rage, the woman took all of her children to the river and drowned them, thinking that it would appease the Spaniard. But she was instantly hit with regret. She began screaming for them, saying, "My children, my children." People say to this day that she wanders near, excuse me motorcyclist, thank you. She wanders near the riverbanks looking for her children. If she finds any children near the river alone, she lures them to the water and drowns them. That one is freaky, and I think that like a lot of the, Lily, what are you doing, honey? Hi, Chunky. Did you get yourself into a situation you can't get out of? My friend Rachel has a cat that looks so similar to Lily, and she always calls that cat Chunk, so I just call my cat Chunk. I think I've also read kind of different variations of that story, but it is super freaking creepy, and I'm sure it was kind of born out of necessity to keep children in Mexico away from the rivers alone, but still, I mean, probably very effective. It's terrifying. Last is from Puerto Rico, and this is the story of the Chupacabra. For some reason, the boys that I went to high school with were weirdly obsessed with the Chupacabra, and they would run around like screaming that word all of the time. I don't know why, like they would call everything Chupacabra. So this word is kind of like lost all sense of terror for me. I don't know. In high school, everything is stupid. The Chupacabra, or goat sucker in English, is probably the most famous urban legend in Latin America. It all started in the small town of Moca, Puerto Rico, where a lot of people in rural areas started complaining about finding several dead sheep and goats with their blood completely drained out through 2 small holes in their necks. After the story hit the news, people from all over Latin America started reporting similar cases, and some even believed to have seen the creature that was killing their sheep and goats. According to multiple sightings, the Chupacabra is said to be about 3 to 4 feet tall and has spines growing down its back from the neck to the tail. Although some sightings are still reported today, no one has been able to prove that the Chupacabra actually exists. It is kind of creepy to look at. It doesn't look the way that I would have imagined. For some reason, I've just never looked this urban legend up. I knew what it was, but it's not as like eerie as I would have thought. Maybe I'm crazy though. I really want to do another video like this, but heavily research a ton of Japanese urban legends and maybe make it into a series. I could do individual videos on each Japanese urban legend, or I can do them as kind of like lists like this, not quite as in depth with each and every case that might correlate. Let me know what you guys kind of think about that down below. Thanks for hanging out with me today, you guys. I again just really appreciate you guys being here for me and hanging out with me every single day. It really does calm my nerves and makes me feel like I have a purpose to come onto YouTube every single day and make videos for you guys. Just having this to focus on has kind of relieved my mind of a lot of the anxiety that I've been feeling recently. I've also been watching a lot of like gaming videos. PewDiePie playing Doki Doki Literature Club, which is freaky. I think that's a little bit too dark for me to play on my channel or anything like that. I've also been watching Matt and Steph play Five Nights at Freddy's 6, which has been interesting to watch too. So that's kind of where my headspace has been. This is not a vlog. I don't know. I love talking to you guys and I never ever want to end my videos, but yeah, I love you all so much. I'll catch you in tomorrow's episode of Vlogmas. I did not give up today. Today was not an easy day. The last couple of days have not been easy, but I didn't give up. And thank you guys for tuning back in. I love you all so very much. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I love you guys and I'll see you in the next video.